video produced by your trainers at the Educational Excellence Group will lead you through the 7 steps of the team process. We begin the process with step 1, plan and prepare instruction. We like to think of this step as the foundation of a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, eventually the house will fall apart, and that is what happens in the team process if you don't plan and prepare well. We start step 1 with the deconstruction of standards. First, we choose a priority standard, then we take that standard and go through the deconstruction process, turning it into student-friendly learning targets and deciding what type of target they are. This step is all about creating a map for your unit of instruction. You're deciding what lessons from the curriculum will fit the standards best and which strategies will work for core instruction. You are also developing assessments and coming up with scoring agreements and rubrics for those assessments. Once those pieces are in place, you're able to move on to step 2, which is organize and chart data. We take the results of your assessment and sort them into categories. Different districts have different names for these categories, but many identify them as proficient, close to proficient, far to go but likely, and far to go. Once your students in that content area or grade level are sorted into categories, you need to select one category of student to focus on in step 3, analyze data and prioritize needs. During this step, your team will take actual physical assessments of the category that you've chosen to a table and will sort through them. First, you're going to want to find out what the students can do. You always want to first focus on student strengths. If we know what students can do, it's easier for us to figure out what they can't do well and what they need to do to move on. Once you have identified their strengths, you need to examine the assessments for errors and misconceptions. Is there an issue with the assessment? If so, you can come back through the reflection step and make changes. Are there common misconceptions by students that can be easily fixed? Once we have identified errors and misconceptions, we need to prioritize them and choose one to focus on. We don't want to try and fix everything at the same time. We want to hone in on the most foundational skill that students in your category need and then move on and deal with the rest later. Step 4 is selecting a common instructional strategy. You're going to select 1 or 2 strategies to help students when the core plan is not working for them. In this step, you're deciding what you can do as a team to help address this need, and as a team, you will need to come to a common agreement on how to teach those particular strategies the same way in all the classrooms. Once you're all agreed, you can move on to step 5, determine results indicators. For those 1 or 2 strategies that we selected in step 4, we're going to ask ourselves 3 questions. What are the students going to do? What are the teachers going to do? And what are we going to look for in student work so we know that the strategy is effective? It's tempting to gloss over this step, but please don't. It's extremely important for all the teachers who are doing this in their classrooms to be on the same page. We often think we know exactly how to do a strategy, but the reality is that once we get into our separate classrooms, we're often doing it in different ways. This is where that job-embedded professional development comes in, where teachers are teaching other teachers how to do things better. One teacher may have a strength in one area, and another teacher may have a complementary strength that fills a team gap. We need to know that we are executing the strategy the same way in every classroom, so if it works, we can replicate it, and if it doesn't, we can take it off the books. Step 6 is creating a theory of action. It's a short but essential step. Basically, we're developing an if-then statement. If students do this, then we will get these results. Finally, we have step 7, reflect, monitor, and evaluate results. Although we identify this as the final step, the activity that we do here, the reflection, should really come throughout the process. You can maybe think of it as step 1B or 2B, etc. You're reflecting on how you did in terms of instruction and also reflecting on how you did functioning as a team. Did you follow your norms? Does anything need to be changed in order to function better as a team? And then we make changes based on what our reflection is. We hope this quick tutorial on the team process will help you in your work. For more detail on the individual steps, including videos and a variety of team tools, please visit the Educational Excellence website at www.educationalexcellence.org.